Hello, thank you for tuning in to this week's reads. Just a quick couple of things before we get into it. This should be on the YouTube channel James13 Wicca. I like to put that out there in case somebody's pirating my stuff. It happens once in a while. It happens to all of us, it seems, one sooner or later. I also do in-person readings in Herkimer, New York. So if you're near Herkimer, New York, feel free to shoot me an email to see if you can get a time slot for that. I have an Instagram that's below that shows my current pricing. Of course, if you would like a direct reading from me, shoot me an email, jamesforastral@gmail.com, James the number 4, astral@gmail.com. The donation information is also below if you just want to send a donation, which I very much appreciate. That being said, let's go ahead and get into your reading. Hello, Libra. Thank you very much for tuning in to this week's read. These readings are valid for whenever you come to them. That being said, what do we have for Libra? I don't know. Let's see. They're all a little kind. It's a circular deck, so they come in a little different sometimes. This is going to be an interesting one. That's it. Okay. Do you really want in? Do you really want in? Somebody needs to show you who they are, is what I'm getting. You've helped somebody? You've helped somebody. Okay. Do you really want in? I keep getting that over and over, so am I saying it wrong? The situation coming up, you may like a person or people that are a part of it, but be very mindful. Even though you like the people, scrutinize the literal situation a lot more before you add into it. Just because there's people you like in it doesn't mean it's going to be a good thing for you. Keep that in mind. Ace of Pentacles in the past, and it's going to return later. And the Hierophant, which is another. There's a lot of Hierophant energy coming in. You got it at the top of your reading, and you got it on the dice. And then I'm seeing the Ace of Pentacles also. It's on the dice, but it's also coming up later. There's something that might be reconstituting, but I feel like they're saying there's been things in the past that have been very restrictive and not in a good way. Libra can work with boundaries depending on what they are. So if we're going to make it really simple, if you're in a certain city, say you're in Atlanta, Georgia, the boundary is you can go anywhere you want to eat and take everybody with you, and it'll be on the company as long as it's within a 5-mile radius of wherever you work. As long as it's within 5 miles, you can choose the place, and lunch is on the company. Okay. That's something you could work with. There's a lot of possibilities, a lot of things you can do, especially if it's in a city. 5 miles can be a pretty good distance, in my opinion. So, there's in the past though, I'm getting this has happened before, and I'm using the same analogy, where that's like, okay, that's a good. I could do something like that. There's a lot of possibilities there, but after 2-3 years, you're like, well, we've kind of exhausted a lot of these possibilities, and there's only like 3 of them that people will actually go to. Otherwise, we don't have the attendance we need to keep this going. So something that looked like it had a lot of possibilities, I can only get people to show up if I pick one of these 3. And in fact, one of these, it depends on the time of year. So most times it's only 2, because this one is only open this certain time of year. So it's kind of like, it looked like it had a lot of possibilities. Now it seems a lot more restrictive for what I'm allowed to do versus what actually works. And this has happened in the past, and you've had to step out of this situation, is what I'm getting with Get Your Power Back. It seemed good, but it didn't really play out the way you wanted it to, and it became more restrictive than beneficial. And you've gotten out of this before. And there's like, whatever's coming up, this type of situation might be looking to repeat. And they're like, as long as you see the information coming your way, as long as you see the possibilities for what they actually are, you'll be able to make that decision effectively. Because I keep looking back at the past, and I'm like, with this upside down, I feel like this is, people were giving me false hope. This is something where people are like, oh, you can do that. Oh, this will work out. But like, and they're telling me the truth, but the way they're telling it to me, it's like, literally, they said within 5 miles, like, okay, but I wasn't, like, there's pieces here that were missing that I didn't realize, and they kept me from going where I wanted to. The Hanged Man reversed is a really odd card, in my opinion, because it's kind of like you technically can do what you want, but you still don't seem to be making the headway that you want at the same time. It's like there's a lot of possibilities, but none of them go where I want to go. That's how I read it upside down. It also depends on other cards around the situation, because it seems like I never really make the right move. It doesn't seem to work out. And I'm looking back, that's how that was. I could make a lot of different choices, but they never really got what I needed out of it. And even though there was some places 10 miles out that people would have been, comparable to or would have worked with, I couldn't get approval to do that, so I never was able to choose those things. So it kind of like limited and stagnated the whole situation. So this new situation coming in, I feel like people are kind of like, hey, come on, Libra, come on with us. Is that really, am I getting that right or wrong? I'm getting this Page of Wands, like somebody's trying to get you to come with them. Or are they just getting involved with it really quickly? The World upside down on the dice, Ace of Fire, it's coming in like this, which means it's not what it seems. It's not the big start that we're hoping for. It's not the good start that you're hoping for. It is coming in fast, and there's an opportunity, but it may not be what you're hoping for. That's what I'm getting for the Ace of Wands. That wasn't the Ace of Wands, obviously. But, is this your stress or somebody else's? I think this is somebody else's stress. I think somebody's unhappy. And they want, so I feel like this might be somebody that you like. This might be somebody that you like, but I feel like they're bringing you in thinking that they can improve their situation with your participation. It's not the worst thing. I don't think anybody's trying to set you up in a negative way. I don't think that's what's going on here. But I feel like whatever they think you're able to do, and you are very effective in accommodating situations. In certain situations, you soar forward like nobody's business. But when the energy is not very nice to you or not very compatible, dare I say, that's a different story. It's true for all of us, though, isn't it? Some situations, they fit us like a glove. Other things, it's kind of like you're trying to put a shoe on your hand and you're like, what is going on here? What's happening? I can't seem to make anything happen. I can't even hold a pen with this shoe on my hand. This makes no sense. The energy here is a little, somebody wants you to come in because they feel like you could turn this situation around for them. The Ten of Cups reversed, this is like no friends. This is like, how do I explain this? This is like being in the middle of a war zone, or just like people are not giving you a chance. People are not, and I don't think this is happening to you directly, but whoever's trying to pull you in, they're going through this where they don't feel like they fit at all, and nobody's listening to them and nobody's helping them. And they're like, Libra's really good at talking. Libra's really good at making connections. If I can get Libra in here, I feel like I can switch this around, because Libra likes me and I like Libra, so maybe Libra can like soften this up and then we can make this a really good situation. I feel like that's why they want you in here. There's a negative energy here that's really strong. It's a general read, take it with a grain of salt. This energy feels very negative. The two of these together, I really don't like. This is kind of like, this is somebody who makes rules and then breaks those rules, but doesn't let anybody else break those rules. It reminds me of having like a parent that's like, no snacks after 7. Meanwhile, they'll snack up to midnight. They'll do it. They can have as many snacks as they want, but you can't. Or, you know what I mean? You know, no having chocolate cake for breakfast, but they'll have it. You know what I mean? You got to have everything done by this time, or you don't go. But they don't have to. This reminds me of somebody who has a standard for other people, but will not uphold that standard for themselves. It's kind of like, these are the rules. Everybody has to follow them, except for them. That's what this feels like to me. These two cards together, especially because they're both upside down. These rules are for you, not for me. I don't have to do that. Do as I say, not as I do. Very much that. This energy is not, take it with a grain of salt, it's a general read, but it's not very honorable is what I'm getting. And I'm also getting that things are about to change there. So, and I'm getting like, maybe this isn't the best time for you to come in because the things are about to change in this situation. You don't have to be a part of that if you don't want to be. And it could be kind of uncomfortable, to say the least. You don't have to be in the middle of that if you don't want to be. I don't even feel like watching it would be fun. And in fact, if you have a connection here, you can hear through them what happened, and you can live vicariously that way without being literally right there. You know what I mean? It's one thing to know somebody's going to get evicted versus like being in the house and watching everybody get evicted. You know what I mean? It's a totally different feel. Something is coming. Whatever the situation is, it doesn't mean that you don't. This says now, not yet. This one's the not yet card, right? Yeah. Doesn't mean you can't do it. Doesn't mean you shouldn't do it. Doesn't mean you won't probably do it at some point. This might not be the best time. This might be a lot more stress than you really want because whatever's coming, there's a change. Because this situation is very unruly, very dishonorable, not right, and it's not going to be fun. It's not going to be comfortable. I just feel like this reminds me of like people freaking out right next to me and just like you can't really do anything and you're not really understanding why it's happening, but like knowing that like it just people freaking out and like how bad is that going to get, because this is getting really uncomfortable. I just don't feel like I like this. I just like I rather I showed up later. Like if this was going to be a thing, I wish I showed up a couple hours later after it was already sorted out so that I didn't have to witness this, because there's nothing I can do about it, and it's not comfortable to be around. Just like it's really like it depends on you how you feel about it, of course. For some of you, you may not be fazed by that, and if you're not fazed by that, maybe that's not a problem for you, because I get like there's another level going in. There's another level where people are feeling like the situation is really messed up and they're looking to fix it. This is ironic that this is going to be good for you. The Strength card reversed, literally, I feel like are people feeling like they don't have any direction, they're feeling weak. So they want things to go better. They're more open to change. They're more open to talking about things and negotiating and making advancements in a positive way. I mean, not that we want people to feel this way, but if it has to happen, it can be an opportunity to where if the positive energy comes in and show people like it doesn't have to be bad. You can step this way. We can go over here. We can do this. We can do this. And then things can improve for you. Things can get a lot better. It's kind of like, it's like eating food that, you don't realize you're allergic to and feeling really, really sick. And then somebody coming in like, you're not feeling really good. Let's try something else. Let's try eating very bland foods. Let's just make it very plain, very bland. That way you don't get sick. And then slowly but surely let's try some of this food and see if this has a negative reaction. We'll just wait a couple days after you're feeling good. We can try this and just see this by itself. Does this have a reaction? In which normally until it hits this rock bottom, they may not be open to it. They may not want to try, or may not give as much effort to it to actually make a positive, permanent change. That, I think, is where they're saying you can come in and you can be very productive. That is where your time shows up. After things kind of go through their change, their moment, their unhappy moment. I'm going to dare say. That's where the Ace of Pentacles starts showing up. And I feel like people don't realize that this is a good thing that it fell apart, because it needed to fall apart so it could be rebuilt. People are more open to you. I do feel like you coming in fresh and not knowing things, or people not thinking you're knowing things, they're more open and more apt to work with you. Kind of like, oh, you don't know that I was helping that situation. You don't know that I was cheering that on. So since you don't know that, you don't realize that, I was doing these things to make it worse for myself. So since you don't know that, they can be more optimistic and feel like they have more of a chance to go into the good graces, if you will. I don't know. It seems like that makes a difference. If they don't think you know their history, they seem to feel like there's a better possibility here. Be careful. If you're too agreeable, this is coming up as a challenge. Being too liked. You don't want to be too likable. Like, I know that you don't want to be disliked, but you don't want to be too agreeable. Maybe that's the thing. Like, you don't want to make it too comfortable for people. Gotta be careful with that. A way that you might be able to get around that to where that's not as much of a factor is to, like, kind of push forward that, like, this, I've seen this go well, this could go really well, and then just leave them with it. Leave them with it. Kind of like, here's the information and I gotta go. Here's the information and I gotta go. You want to have your conversations. I totally respect that. But, like, I feel like Libra's good at this too. Align those conversations where there's a set amount of time and direct that energy, start that conversation, keep it going where you need it. And then it's like, okay, well, if you have questions, we're going to have to do that tomorrow at about 2 o'clock. I have to go. I'm sorry. But write down your questions. Move forward with this for now. Try this for now. And tomorrow, let me know how it worked out. And we can talk about it tomorrow. And got to go. I feel like a longer conversation is going to be more of a catch-22. You'll get more information, but I feel like it might backpedal a bit in a way that we don't want it to, is what I keep getting. So kind of like, shorten the possibilities, shorten your availability, which it seems like it's hard because it's kind of like, yeah, but I want to know more and I want to know what's going on. But if I shorten it up, I want them to do what needs to be done. I get information and I give what I want them to do. I do get enough information to do something with, but then I step away and we see what happens when they do what I tell them. Especially because I feel like you're going to know more than they realize you know, and we don't want to get tied up in these conversations that aren't really going anywhere anyway. Is that a deconstructing? What are these cards? Hard to read them upside down. Nine of Wands reversed, people letting down their guard, and the Five of Pentacles reversed, people letting you in. People letting you in whether they want to or not. The Five of Pentacles reversed is a very interesting card. To me, that's where it's kind of like, no, I'm getting in whether you want me to or not. You might get in on this situation. You might get closer to this situation, but I'm also questioning whether you want to be that close. You might get quite deep into this situation really fast because people are going to listen to you and you're going to make some differences and people are going to get maybe addicted to that. Be careful of that. Because especially if you do that thing where you're like, here's the information, I got to go. Especially if you do that, people are they're going to see results a lot faster if you don't give them a chance to rebuke them. They might get addicted to it. So I feel like they're saying that's a catch-22 with this. People might get addicted to you. Be aware of it. Make sure you have a healthy distance so that it doesn't drag down your energy. And I don't know if I've shown it, but whatever this situation is, it may lock in for quite a while. So that's another reason, like, if people get addicted to you, make sure you make that comfortable for you, because I just feel like make sure you make this comfortable for you. Don't feel bad making this comfortable. In the long run, it will suit you because this might last for a long time. So, because I feel like, Libra, there might be a Taurus energy here though. I keep looking at this card. There might be a Taurus you got to deal with. Signs are neither good nor bad. It's the person you're dealing with. There might be somebody here that, like, once they start a pattern, they may not let it go. So that being said, I feel like there might be this thing where I feel bad or I feel guilty pushing somebody away. Especially Libra likes to be fair. Fair is all about it's what Libra tends to be all about. Fair, fair, fair. Think of it long run. long run, it's fair that you're happy and that you have that buffer. At first, it may feel like, oh, I don't know if this is right because they really need me. They're gonna latch onto you and they're not gonna let go. I'm telling you, it's gonna be a pattern that's gonna be really difficult to break. If you start it with, if you set that right in the beginning, only so much, and you limit it only so much, after a few years, you're gonna realize, no, that balanced out quite well, and this is gonna be a long-term thing. Do that to your favor. Do yourself a favor. Of course, if this hits. It's general read, of course. All right. I'm going to shut this down here. Hope that helps. Thank you very much for watching. If you'd like a direct reading from me, shoot me an email, jamesforastral@gmail.com. That's James the number 4, astral@gmail.com. If you're interested in the donation information, that's below. Same email. Thank you very much for watching, and have a great day.